Okay, hey, hello there, my beloved fans. Today's video post is about the second half of Canadian history following Confederation. I wrote myself a little cheat sheet here, so I hope you don't mind if I reference it. Right. So, one of the first things that happened following Canadian Federation is the creation of the Northwest Mounted Police by the first Prime Minister, John Macdonald. The Northwest Mounted Police primary objective was to keep those pesky Americans out of Canadian territory, because they were always slipping over the border and stealing the national resources. They also put down several Indian revolts, and also Indian-European mixed breed, like the Metis revolts. That was the first one put down, as a matter of fact. Canada had their own version of the Wild West, the Yukon Territory, located on the border of Alaska, where many exciting stories happened, and famous heroes like Sergeant Preston of the Mounted Police and Jack London, of the person who wrote books, all sorts of Jack London. Read that, and it takes place in the Yukon. Very interesting. Right. And the Yukon had gold. Then during World War I, Canada's foreign policy was controlled by Great Britain. So when Great Britain joined the war against Germany, the German Empire, Canada also joined and fought good. Then in 1931, they were given their own sovereignty over foreign policy. However, in World War II, which happened after 1931, for those of you who don't know that, they still decided to join forces with the mother country and declared war on Hitler's Germany 1 week after the United Kingdom did. During the 60s, while America was going through its crazy hippie revolution, Canada was having a quiet revolution, which saw the demise of the strong Catholic holding in Quebec and the rise of the October Crisis, where Quebec wanted to become an independent entity from the rest of Canada. There was a couple other problems with the locals. The first female Prime Minister, Campbell, in the 90s, turned out to be a disaster for Canada, just like all women in politics are a disaster. Campbell completely blew it after a couple of months, saw the complete demise of her political party and the rise of the Québécois as the official opposition party, because she destroyed her own party. Throughout the entire 20th century, as Canada drifted away from the mother country, the United States to the south continuously bullied it and dictated policy to it. In 1995, Quebec voted on whether or not to become independent. They voted no, and regardless, the Canadian government said that it was illegal to make those kinds of decisions. The most influential one of the most influential Canadian prime ministers was, the three most influential Canadian prime ministers are probably, Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau, who, made the Canadian French much more important than they really are, and changed the Constitution, very much so, Canada. I'm kind of going in reverse order. William Mackenzie, who was the president during the Second World War, generally well regarded. People overlooked the fact that he was an occultist and used Ouija boards and had regular conversations with his dead family members through spirit medium. And then John McDonald, who was he wasn't the George Washington, but kind of Canada. Interesting side note, the history of Newfoundland. Joined Canada in 1931, I believe. Before that, during the Great Depression and stuff, Newfoundland basically became this like corrupt, really cruddy place. You know, like a modern day African country, you know. And they basically sent a letter to London saying, hey, we're really corrupt. And London said, well, let's see if you are. And they did a little study and they said, wow, these guys really are corrupt. So Newfoundland was independent of Great Britain, kinda. And then they messed it up so bad that Great Britain took them back in. And then, after the Second World War, they're doing really good again. And Newfoundland was even giving loans to Great Britain. That's how well they're doing. And they decided to vote. What are we going to do? Are we going to join Canada? Are we going to become our own independent thing again? Newfoundland, the country Newfoundland? Or are we going to let Great Britain continue to rule us, kind of? And so they voted. And what happened was the Catholic bishops wanted Newfoundland to be independent, so they pressured the people who went to the Catholic churches. They said, vote this way. And then the Protestants really hated that, so they were like, that's it, we're not voting for that, we're voting for joining Canada. And so that's kind of what happened. Very close vote-ish, not that close. And that's a side note on Newfoundland. Very interesting, because who'd have thought that we had a African despotist government right up to in North America in the 30s, right? that's second half of Canadian history. Couple notes about Canada today. They still have the Queen as the head of state, or their current the Governor General has mostly switched back and forth between a French Quebecois Governor General and a English speaking Governor General. The current Governor General is David Johnston, a white guy, and the current Prime Minister is Stephen Harper, who's a conservatist. I guess Prime Minister Campbell didn't mess things up too bad because the Conservatives ended up winning again. That's that. I hope you tune in next time for my exciting history lesson on whatever country I decide to choose. I'm thinking maybe South Africa or Australia. Haven't decided yet. Both pretty interesting. Both pretty interesting. More than just kangaroos, and there's no stereotypes for South Africa. So, yeah. Bye.